Trentamus. You're sad today.
Been experiencing a plethora of emotions. In the morning was some sadness.
What happened?
You know, what's interesting is I didn't, in the beginning, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, life's going great, got all the things, that I want, and pretty much. And I went on a first date yesterday. It went really well, like perfectly, ideally.
Yeah, dates are important.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been pretty focused on just building for a while. And so I've been putting that aside. And I'm like, why aren't I fired up? Like, that was a great date. And she's beautiful and wonderful. And it just went great.
Wow.
There was magic and all these little special moments. And I feel like so what I do is, for a career, I help men to know their worth, to know they're good enough, to know what they're capable of, and to bring that to the world.
Yeah.
And to know the depths of their inherent divine nature. Because I experienced the opposite for most of my life.
Yeah.
I feel like I was worth nothing.
When you say most of your life, how many years out of how many years you are alive?
Gosh.
From 0 to how long?
I'd say from 0 to 34.
0 to 34. How old are you now?
40.
40. Okay. Very good. Keep going.
And it was, it's kind of a progression. It was and it's like Bitcoin,
Yeah.
And so it's been a progression.
Ups and downs, peaks and valleys,
Yeah.
breakthrough and breakouts.
Yeah. And so I think underneath it, I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm a little vulnerable now because I like this woman. She likes me. I haven't been in a relationship for a while. I've been in one long distance off and on, but pretty safe. And now this is kind of opening that place of, you ever heard of parts work or internal family systems?
No.
It's magic. So essentially it's the theory that there's many different parts of us inside of our body at all times. So that part of us that brings up emotions or fear is maybe our younger self saying, hey, I'm afraid. Don't do that thing.
Yeah.
So it'll send stuff to our mind or, yeah.
Well,
we
have to continue, and I'm going to tie this up at the end.
Okay.
Let's keep going with your experience.
So that little trend, which is wild because I actually, when I was young, this is a true story. When I was young, throughout from a baby to maybe older, I could speak to my future self, and I called him Big Trent. He called me Little Trent. Now I do that work now in my body because that's where the memory's stored. It's like, how can we think of a memory when we were 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, but not every single cell of our body has been changed multiple times over every 7 years.
Yeah.
So how, right? It's because we keep the memory stored within the cellular structure, which is actually called a neuropeptide. And I could go down this science, but essentially, yeah. So every thought we have creates a new cell, and that cell is either of a healthy, loving, fresh, vibrant, open, clear cell, or of fear, and it stamps an imprint of the fear in the thought.
Yeah.
And so that's how it gets stored. So there's still these parts in us that are afraid. And so the little Trent's like, hey, we experienced not being loved and being abandoned as a child, and now we're becoming vulnerable again. Is that going to happen again? All right. And so I'm like, oh, snap. And so once I realized that, I did the parts work, took a shower, and feeling a lot better.
And here's what I want to say to support your case. I recently went through a divorce. Well, she left May 2022. She left the house. And it was a traumatic experience because I didn't see it coming, dude. There was no fighting, no cheating, no arguing, no put-downs, no negativity, no toxicity in the house, nothing like that. It was all freaking... I remember the week before we were belly laughing in the living room. Yeah. And then she came home and she was like, wait, hold up. It was crazy. Anyways, fast forward. There's a new woman in my life now. And the moment that I started getting the feelings, dude, I felt a storm in my mind and like, dude, it was crazy feeling, man. It was intense. I'm like, why is this happening? And that's exactly why. Because I never had that feeling when I started getting intimate with a woman before.
Yeah. Never before.
Never before. This time, yes. And it's because of that. So, yeah, it makes total sense. Wow. Feel your pain. Yeah, well, coincidentally, surprise, folks, we're getting a special guest here this afternoon. It happens to be this woman. I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah.
What do you like about her?
You know, she's a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah, fun.
And sweet and beautiful.
Yep.
And you ever have that where when you hug a woman, you just feel like there's this palpable connection. It's not just sexual. It's
No. I know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's energy.
Yes.
It's like I describe it as fire, dude. It's the highest. God, it's freaking incredible.
Yeah. Man, that first time we hugged,
you're just like, right?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. That's special. It's a gift.
It is.
That is a gift.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't happen all the time.
No.
So easy to get along with.
Okay.
Fun, funny. There's lots of great things. So, second date, we don't know, but so far so good.
You're right after this.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully she comes in while we're recording and we're in some really deep stuff, and then she just gets to know you on a whole new level, and she's just like, this person I've ever met in my life. I love it. No.
Not yet.
Not yet. No, we're going to take it easy. So let's talk a little about, the way I like to frame this is talk about where you're at today, and then we're going to throw it way, way back, and I'm going to ask you some very specific questions about your childhood, about how you grew up, the name of your schools, all the details, the names of your parents, freaking. So get ready for that. And then I like to, it always builds up to, okay, what is the point of all that, right? What is all that energy and all those lessons? Where are they going to take you? Who are you going to impact? So then we talk about, wrap it up with some really good questions at the end, and we are through. But let's talk about what you're doing on the day today.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Who are you hanging out with? What are you doing for work?
So it depends on the day. I have a schedule for the whole week.
Oh.
I love systems. I love routine. From the moment I go to bed, to the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed.
Yeah.
And so if it's a week night, for the school night, then it's pretty regimented. I wake up 5 a.m. I make my bed. I meditate. I do the journal. I look at my goals for the next 90 days, kind of first thing, and I look at them for 5 minutes, just imagining, let whatever come. Either I'm imagining them having been accomplished, what that feels like, or pieces to connect things together, or ideas. This is one of the first things I do in the morning. And then I do transcendental meditation, which is the best. I've done that for 15 years now, life changer. And I'm just surrounded by notes and things and journals and books that I'm reading. And
you live in a house, apartment?
I live in an apartment. I'm actually saving up to buy some land. Yeah.
Yep.
And so I don't like living with people. So I'm like, I don't need to spend $3,000 for a house right now.
Yeah, and then have roommates and stuff.
Yeah. Or even spend that all on my own, and that money could be going towards land instead. So
And what part of town are you at here in Austin?
I'm in South
Austin. Okay. So when you wake up in your apartment at 5 a.m. on the dot, where are these books and where are these notes? Are they in like a home office, or are they in your bedroom, or in your kitchen, or is it your whole space that's just fabricated with educational stuff?
It's pretty much my bedroom's just white, picture of hand-drawn Jesus and, my feathers and the things that are sacred to me.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, the kitchen, has the supplements and the food, and then my living room, it has the office, and then all the different whiteboards and Post-its and things I have. So it's basically just spread out there. And what's funny is that she came over yesterday and I didn't prepare for it. And my stuff was just spread out everywhere. I'm like, hold on a second. I haven't had anyone over for a minute, but she's really cool about it.
Of course she was.
Mm-hmm.
Of course she was. It's freaking great, man. Okay. Let me see here. So you're getting up every day, and what's the point of learning so much and having your space set up like that? What are you doing? Who are you helping?
So I went through a lot of challenge most of my life, and
34 years.
Yeah. And so I am now very grateful for every moment. I've now taken as much as I can to alchemize the man I am and becoming.
Yeah.
And I know that it's happened not only for me, but also as me. As I believe that even with quantum physics and everything's made of a divine substance. It's made of God.
Yeah.
So as being children of God, everything's happening for us. So I look at that now and it makes complete sense. But I went through, addiction and depression and, from childhood, not feeling wanted, feeling abandoned. I had 3 step parents and they all kind of built families with them. My parents divorced when I was 2 and I was the oldest. So it was kind of like, this kid's in the way. Like I could have my family here, but this little kid's just a pain in the ass. And I felt that. And they would, ignore me, and that they would manipulate my parents into not feeling safe giving me love. And so I really didn't feel wanted as a kid. And I thought that might have just been in my head. And the other day at Thanksgiving this last year, my uncle he was close with both parents and my dad. And he's like, did you feel wanted as a kid? Like, no. He's like, yeah, I felt that too. He's like, that's why I would come and pick you up and take you often, because I could tell they didn't really want you. And I'm like, dang. So, yeah,
it's like a cynical moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was genuine about it, because, yeah. And so it just, yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah, it was that obvious, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think he was just pointing out how true that was. And he cared. He's like, I saw.
What's his name? Where's he at?
He's in Utah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, what do you see?
And he saw that I wasn't really wanted by my dad and stepmom.
Let's tie it back to the future here for a second, because this stuff happened and you're helping people because of a little bit of what happened in the past, not all of that. So who are you helping right now?
So I went through all that in order to understand how to become free, which is interesting. I'm wearing the shirt today. For the most part, again, it's like Bitcoin's up and down. It's never perfect. So I help men to become free from addictions, free from depression. I don't work with a lot of depressed men, but life gets better. I have worked with men that had just attempted suicide, and work with CEOs that are starting to have a $28 million exit, and then all this stuff's coming up, and they're sabotaging relationships, or they just don't feel good enough.
Yeah.
So helping high performers and high achievers actually dial in their life and their routine and the part of them that doesn't believe that they're good enough. So we actually dial that all in, and everything gets better. Health and relationships, money, everything. So I am passionate about that. I believe that it's a part of my purpose and why I'm here. I know it is. And so I'm on fire because I love it. I love what I do. I'm really flipping good at it. I'm really good, like one of the best in the world. And I know that. So I know me dialing that in is going to create success in my life as well as helping these men.
Yes, and that causes waves in the universe of positivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relationships, happiness, health. And I believe that, so there's 3 stages of men in the world. David Data coined this. The first stage is like the alpha, kind of a-hole, really confident in themselves, but controls things, gets what they want, has a vision, but doesn't really care about anyone but themselves. Then there's the second stage, which is more the beta that cares way too much about everyone else and what they think of him, and he's trying to be safe, and so he's the nice guy, but he actually cares, but doesn't really have any confidence. So, and then there's third stage, which is
Gil, can I guess?
Yes.
All right. It has to do with wisdom.
Yes.
The wise man. Okay, what is it?
So it's the best of both of them.
Yeah.
So he's confident and caring. He's a leader. He gets things done.
Yeah.
And that's actually called the Secure Sigma.
Secure Sigma. I want to get a necklace with that on my chest.
Yeah. So that we need more Secure Sigmas leading, because we have a ton of alphas.
Yeah.
They don't care about anyone but themselves and what they want. They're not greedy. And so everything's fallen to pieces. And the Secure Sigma is actually a reluctant leader. He's like, I don't need to. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to control. but I'm feeling called to lead because look at what's happening. And so you can also call it the true king, king, warrior, lover, magician, right?
Yeah.
So he's the man that's activated his warrior, his magician, and his lover. And now those three must be done in order to activate the true king. So we need more true kings and secure sigmas leading our world. And so I help second stage men to become third stage men. And then from them leading into the lives and their lives first, then their families, and then their companies, and then their communities, and then it just ripples out. And so I just know that's a part of why I'm here. And as I had sent on the bio, I'm here to help 1 million men to activate the third stage integrated man and create a better world.
Very good. And what else are you doing with your time?
I am on, so Friday nights, like Friday afternoons and nights, and Saturdays are my friends' time. So social, go hang out, go to, went to Kevin's Rose's to do the, improv comedy.
Yeah.
And birthday dinner. And so just having fun. So I'm so structured between Sunday night to Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Almost every minute.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
to where I just let myself enjoy Friday night, Saturday. And Sunday, I go to Red Rocks Church.
Yeah. Great church.
Yeah.
I was there 3 weeks ago.
Were you?
Yeah.
Huh?
It was fired up, man.
Yeah.
I was there in the morning.
Yeah.
Early service.
Okay, good.
And I was in the front row.
Yes.
And my friends and I were dancing. It was amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Been looking for that for a long time because I was raised Mormon, strict, God loves you conditionally, and you lead yourself, and God leads you through guilt, shame, and blame. So only if you're perfect is God going to love you, and you're going to get to heaven. And that's a crazy way to grow up thinking. And so I developed that for a long time. I had to get out of it. I left it. I went and I was baptized and then never went back. So I'm like, thanks for the free sins cleanse. And then I went on the opposite side, I went spiritual.
Yeah.
Uber spiritual for a long time. And then it was like sand. There wasn't ever really any substance to it. It didn't feel rooted or grounded on the uber spiritual side.
Yeah.
But I love pieces. I studied the Tao Te Ching and Buddhism and Hare Krishna. I mean, everything I could get my hands on. And then studied multiple religions. And so I started to take little pieces of each part, including Conversations with God, which is my favorite book in the world.
Who wrote that?
Neil Donald Walsh.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Really beautiful story. So then I started to take all these pieces into what I believe, and just like Red Rock says, it's about the relationship, not about the religion.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the only places I feel like I really feel God, with love and acceptance, than judgment and ridicule and shame and blame and guilt.
Dude, right? Which is totally different than a lot of other religions out there.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, it's love-based.
Yes.
Yeah, loving God no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah, there's salvation.
Yep.
Yeah. More people need to hear that message.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it'd be helpful if they did, rather. They don't need to. It'll be helpful if they did. So, okay, that's good. That's good. And what's up with this regimen here? What is that? Why? Why would you say you're calculated to the minute in the day-to-day?
Mm-hmm. I feel like it helps me to stay on track and to get as much done as I can. I feel on fire about my purpose in my life and where I'm at.
Yeah.
And that is the focus right now. And I'd kind of played around for a long time and
Goofed off.
Yeah, goofed off. Yep.
Okay.
Travel.
You're making off a lost time.
Yeah.
You want to have some fun.
Yep, I do. I'm like, okay, now it's time to really get these things dialed. Feels like the support here, I'm getting everything needed as far as the spiritual needs filled, the friendship needs filled, all these buckets that I've really wanted for a long time. The Austin's really filling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, now let's go. I really feel so aligned to myself. I've let go of, all the addictions and the doubts and most doubts. And so just like, okay, it's time.
Yeah, the life of your dreams is unfolding in front of you second by second.
Yeah.
You don't like to waste any time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of us were screwed over in one way or shape or form through our adolescence, whether it's the public education system trying to brainwash us, or our parents being ill-equipped to teach us things that are super important, or what have you. There's a lot of stuff we need to make up for lost time. Okay, yeah, you got a lot going on, man. Richard Branson, this is what I was going to say about that. Richard Branson runs his schedule on a 10-minute increment. Yeah, he's very dialed in with his time. And I personally resonate with that, because I'm always trying to shave seconds off my day. As if like the day starts, boom, it's like I'm on the professional NFL field. How efficient and how effective can we be? I say that term all the time. Efficiency, effectiveness, all the time. Doesn't that light you up, though? Doesn't you like it? It's like a sport, right? It feels good. Yeah. Momentum.
I make sure what I found for myself, everything's in balance, right? Masculine, feminine, the go, get things done, focus, clear, drive, like take action. And then the feminine of presence, right? Being present in my body, present to the moment. Who am I being? Am I really being who I am? What's underneath why I'm doing all this? Is it because I'm trying to fix something about myself because I don't feel good enough, which a lot of us are?
Yeah.
Right? And so I need to prove myself. This is the wild thing. I love psychology. Is that we're mainly trying to, in our lives, unconsciously, still have our parents approve of us and be proud of us, because we developed how do I get the most love? What do they appreciate the most? Our success, or when I'm a good boy, or all these pieces that we develop our framework. And then we grow up doing that. And it's subconsciously like, when I create more success, then my dad's going to be proud of me, or I'll feel better about myself, or I'll allow myself to feel happiness or fulfillment once I get to this point. Once my body looks this way, or my bank account looks this way, or my career looks this way, or my relationship looks this way, or my partner looks this way, then I'll allow myself to feel fulfilled and to love myself. But it doesn't work that way.
No.
It's because it's like a sinking hole. Yeah.
Yeah. You're relying on the outcome. That's not good. You're not going to play your best game if you're relying on the outcome.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It ain't going to happen. Emotion drives motion. So as a child, you're seeking that happy, that cozy, warm feeling from the love from your parents. And emotion can drive motion in a downward direction as well. For example, if you don't feel that love, and it can lead you to do things to fill in that void. Exactly. Fill in the void with things that aren't beneficial to you.
Yep. Can I ask you what you've done in your life to fill that void? Maybe even recently?
I dabbled in drugs for like a year and 2 months in high school. And that was one thing. Porn. I don't watch that. I haven't watched that in a long time because it's no good. And then, what else? Those are like the worldly things that most people would think of. Those are like the most prevalent things I could think of right now. Yeah, there's probably other stuff that might not even know, but those are, for sure.
You feel like maybe even business?
Business used to be that way? Oh, dude. All right, let me explain this.
Yeah.
I just had the aha the other day, so it's great you brought this up. Yeah, man, so I was like, I had a wife, and I had a ton of money coming in, like for the first time in my life, and life was so good, dude. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, everything I've worked for the past like 10 years for is finally happening now.
Yeah.
Now. Countless books, right? Countless phone calls, 35,000 calls a year, etc. It's all surmounted to this. I'm like, this is amazing. What they say in the books are true.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking all good about myself. I'm like, yeah, dude. Oh, money, whatever. Boom, let's do it. Boom, let's do it. And then one day, all that stuff, dude. Wow. God took me by the back of my neck and smeared me in the ground. That's what it felt like. I know he didn't do that, but it felt like that at the time. And everything got taken away very fast. So it used to be, oh, yeah, let's get success. Let's get that money, be the best. Dude, now, ever since that experience, I really don't care about the money. I can't focus on the money, dude. It's like the real gold of life is not the gold. The gold of life is the energy, the connections we have with people, this bright spirit we get to be in other people's lives. Yeah. How well can we help and communicate with others? Yes. And love, dude. That's the gold. The money ain't the gold, bro. I thought it was for a second. And then you get it, right? And then you're like, okay, like, this is all it is. And then it gets taken away in an instant when you got to give someone all your shit. So that used to be it, yes.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing that and being willing to go through that in order to find what true gold is.
Yeah.
And having such a good attitude about it. I'm sure that was really difficult for a long time.
Thankfully to sports. Yeah, I grew up in sports, and I know you got to have a good attitude when you're playing the game.
Yeah.
It's a big game, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which sports?
Baseball.
Yeah.
For a long time. Yeah, what about you? You played sports?
You know, I was a nerd.
But your mind, right? In Europe, the brain is a muscle, so video games are a pro sport.
Yeah.
So what sport?
I did play a lot of
video games. Which ones?
You know, I'd play Sega Genesis and Nintendo with my dad. And,
yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. He'd go on the side, smoke a bowl, come and play with me.
That's fun.
Like, Dad, you smell funny. What is that?
Mary's crops.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right. So we get the. Is there any side businesses or like side projects you're working on right now, every day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about those.
I'm gonna pin that real quick and share that.
Oh.
I wasn't coordinated as a kid.
Yeah.
Then I became extremely coordinated and good at most things I applied myself to.
Yeah.
So I love sports now, and I'm really grateful. I used to be like short and kind of nerdy, and then I just developed over time, and so I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
And for that perfect situation. I'm glad I wasn't great at everything, because I would have probably thought I was better than other people if I was really good at stuff when I was a kid. And I'm glad I'm glad that didn't happen.
That could give you an inflated sense of self.
Yeah.
That's no good for nobody.
No, we're all God's children, and so we're all a part of one body. Ephesians 4:4. There's only one spirit and one body.
Yes.
It's the body of God. And so the cells of my shoulder aren't any better than the cells of my thigh. My foot isn't better than my hand. So it's all one body. It's all important to have different. I don't want all hand cells, right? That wouldn't work.
If everybody took that statement and dissected it and gave it meaning to themselves every day and lived that out every day, I think that the world would solve a lot of its issues.
You should change it. Yep. Because I look at people as, okay, you're different than me. Great. What is your purpose? Like, what did God put in you to bring to this world? And that's moment to moment. That's big purpose. That's every piece. So that helps me to not judge them, appreciate them.
Yeah.
And myself. And so, it's been a game changer to really feel that and be like, hey, you're God's son. I am too. So as everyone is a child of God, we're all equal. Yeah. You can't get any better or less than that. So the projects I'm working on now, one is doing a men's mastermind with Charles Clay that I'm really excited about. I'm going to start inviting high-level men into this meeting every other week and supporting each other in every area of life.
Skirt. Hit the brakes. What is high level?
High level is dialed in. What do you want? Where are you now? What do you want in the next 90 days? What does that look like? What's been in the way? What's been the bottleneck, inside or out? And then how are you going to create that? What's the game plan? Health, wealth, relationships, what it is, purpose, spirituality, whatever it is for you. And then supporting, okay, what are you committed to? What are the three top domino commitments this week that you're committing to? And how can we support you in that? So you're like, all right, I'm going to do this domino. For me, it's going to bed by 9-10 p.m. and taking a bath, which has been a game changer for me. A bath at night with Epsom salt and then slip right into bed. I'm out. I used to have a hard time sleeping. Stay up till 1 and then not sleep till 3 when I laid down. So it's finding all those pieces and then also creating brotherhood. We can't do life alone. That whole, you can go faster alone, but we go farther together.
Big time.
Especially with good brothers. So that's each individual man is going to have different parts in their lives, but we're all going to be business owners. We're all going to support each other in that business. And also one man might be like, hey guys, I'm trying to figure this piece out, content or sales or marketing, whatever it is, or my relationship. What have you guys found that works for you? Can you help me? Like, of course, here's this piece of wisdom, this piece of experience, this person, this contact, really anything. How do we support each other and bond together in a round table? You've heard the seven sons, the father and the seven sons story?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that.
It's identical. A lot of biblical references that come through in business, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in life.
Yes.
Identical matches. Yeah. Man, that's freaking cool. Okay, so you're doing that with Charles. Yeah, shout out to Charles Clay.
Yeah, our boy.
Yeah.
And also, go watch that episode too.
Thank you.
Then I also do men's coaching. I help business owners to get really clear, letting go of any bottlenecks in their life. It could look like addictions or anxiety or just not having clarity on how to move forward.
Yeah.
And then supporting them in leveling up in that and having more confidence and clarity and implementation in their life to be more effective.
Yeah.
And so that's almost booked out. I do have 2 one-on-one spots left. And there's an online mastermind I'm building out. It's more of a men's group. I hang out with a lot of men, like groups of men, teams of men. I'm on different, and that's been such a game changer for me. And what else? I'm also for Red Rocks putting together a men's only event. So I'll come in and support them almost Tony Robbins style, but to build them and connect them together as well. And because I see so many good young men that could use support in their life, and that I have a lot of young men that want to hang out as well. And I'm like, man, I don't have the time, but I love you. So this is a way to have all of them together in the room and to serve them at the same time. So, which is one of my love languages. So it's a win-win.
Active service. I just had a light bulb go off as you were talking about something here, the archetypes, the alpha, the beta, and then the SS, which is
Secure Sigma.
Secure Sigma. Reminds me of a posture where the alpha is like a bull, forward facing, let's go, don't care about anybody. The beta is kind of like, and then the SS is upright, posturous, 360 awareness, very poised, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very aware. Yeah, I love that. Yes, awareness of how can I serve, how can I protect, and how can I make sure I am protected.
And that's wisdom. Responding and not reacting.
Yes.
Not being submissive, not being overly aggressive. Sheesh. Nah. Being the peacemaker. Man, it's freaking good. All right.
Okay.
Now I
like that.
We're gonna throw it way back, dude. You know, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of your life. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. You're doing some amazing work in Austin, and we appreciate it. Serious, it's amazing.
One or two.
Yep. Where were you born?
I was born in Ogden, Utah.
Ogden. Okay. And your parents were married for 2 years.
Yep. They were 8. My mom was 17 when she got pregnant.
Yeah.
And my dad was 20.
Okay.
So I think they were 18 and 21.
What are their names?
Babies. And my dad died when I was 20.
20. Oh, wow.
He was 44.
What?
He was only 4 years older than I.
What happened to him?
He had a poor mental and physical diet. So he had cancer.
Oh.
Which is the eating of the self.
Yeah.
It starts here, and then poor foods, and he couldn't heal himself here or here.
Yeah.
It spread throughout his body, and he went to the next level.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where's Shelly?
Shelly's in Patterson, California.
Where is that? Up north?
Yeah, it's by the Bay Area.
Anywhere that I don't know, I always assume it's up north.
Yeah.
California. Okay. That's cool. She's living in the woods.
Yep. Almond tree orchards.
That's cool.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw her?
I saw her last Thanksgiving.
Really?
We talk often. Wonderful woman.
Yeah?
Yeah. She's come such a long way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably through much of your influence, as well as other things.
She says so.
That's amazing. All right, so you grew up in Ogden. Okay, yeah. I'm Ogden, Utah. And what was it like from the age 0 to 5 years old, living at your household with your 2 parents? Well, 0 to 2 with your 2 parents.
Yeah.
What was it like living there?
You know,
remember any of that?
I do. My mom had told me stories. They fought a lot. My dad was young. He still kind of wanted to party. And he was, my mom tell me stories when she would come home from work and my dad would be holding me and like snorting a line of coke with one hand and like holding me with the other and be like, babe, you got to try this.
As Mormon.
Well, my grandparents were Mormon.
Yeah.
They were not. And everyone around me was Mormon.
Okay. A lot of influence.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's blowing rails.
Yeah.
And feeding you some Gerber.
Yeah.
And okay. Very good.
Yeah.
You don't remember much, though, because you're 2.
Yep.
What about from 2 to 5? You have any glimpses of memory from those years?
I remember getting vaccinated and then given ice cream afterward.
Vaccinated?
Yeah.
For what?
Childhood.
Oh, just
immune,
life.
Typical.
That's the only thing you remember for 3 years. You don't remember anything else. You remember your house, your stairs, your environment? Really? Wow, dude. Wow. You don't remember what your house looked like? Okay.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro, I could walk in my house right now.
Wow.
And give you a description of it as a kid. My first house.
Yeah.
That's nuts. All right, so then we're going to move on to, let's say you're 5. When did you start school? 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when kids start school?
Yeah.
Where'd you go to elementary school?
I went, my mom and dad separated when I was 2. My mom met a gentleman named, and then they moved to California.
Without you?
And they gave me the go-ahead for me to choose.
Okay.
And I don't know how that happened early on, but I know when I could choose, they allowed me to choose.
Yeah.
And so I, stayed.
Shelly and Mike are in California.
Yep. And so I remember bouncing back and forth throughout my childhood, trying to find my place in my home. I didn't feel my dad, found a new wife pretty quickly as well.
What's her name? Is she around?
Yeah.
You talk to her?
We do.
Because how long she raised you?
I think, I don't know exactly, but I'd say 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep. So then they're living in Ogden still.
Yep.
And you're mostly in Ogden.
Yep.
What was it like in that environment, getting flip-flop back and forth?
It was tough because I didn't feel welcomed in either spot, and that could have been on me. I could have helped create that, I'm sure. I dated a wonderful woman with children, and I remember feeling the experience of kind of being in that same position and not feeling welcomed by
kids.
The children. Yeah, understandably. And also I had to recognize that and not have resentment towards them. And I had a lot of resentment as a child towards my step-parents. So I can get why they felt that way now after having experienced that myself.
Dude, and who's telling you that stuff as a kid, Who's telling you, hey, boy, you're probably feeling like this, and this is why. Nobody's talking like that to us, to you. No.
My future self.
Old trusty.
Yeah.
So, all right, you're going to school every day, and you're coming home on the school bus. This is really good, man. What were your feelings on a day-to-day basis when you got off the school bus to get inside the house?
If no one was home, I felt safe and happy to be alone.
And what if people were home?
I felt dread.
Why?
I was ignored a lot as a kid, and my dad was really hard on me. So it wasn't like, hey, son, how's your day? Tell me about what's going on. He's like, put your bag over there, or kind of more judgment.
Militant.
Yeah. And
regiment. Yeah, put it over there.
Put your shoulders back. Like, don't
be
speak
better
that way. Yeah. Constantly.
Work harder.
Or he just walked past me as if I wasn't there, and also the stepmom did too. But it was cooler than...
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was still uncomfortable.
They would walk past you and not acknowledge your presence.
Quite often.
Dude, what the...
Yeah.
Have they ever talked to you why they did that? Told you why they did that?
My mom and stepdad didn't do that. It was a different scenario there. My stepdad was an alcoholic, good-hearted man, raised in a challenging situation, worked really hard for us, did his best, actually tried really hard to be a good stepdad. But as alcoholics are, once in a while, he wasn't the coolest dude to be around, to say the least.
Say the least. What do you mean?
I feel like...
Feel or What do you think?
A little bit of both. I feel like he is such a good man.
Yeah.
Has a good heart, has a lot of capabilities. The way he was raised and his brothers and how they treated him. He was the youngest of I think 6 brothers.
Yeah.
That he forgot how special and beautiful he is. And so he developed this belief that he's not, and he would drink that feeling away. And then he would see that specialness in me.
Yeah.
And he would hate it. He would resent it. He'd be angry at it. And so he didn't want me to have it because it triggered part in him that believed that he didn't have it.
Yeah.
And so when my mom would give me love, he's like, no, do not give him love because that means he's more special than I am. And I don't want that. You do not give him love at all. And then what's kind of messed up is my other 2 step-parents were doing the same thing with my dad. So I felt both parents feel guilt and fear in giving me love because they know I remember just on both sides laying at night hearing my parents fight and the step-parents fighting about me and just reaming me and what they did. And so it was a lot. And then I was beat up and picked on at school a lot.
What happened?
I was just awkward.
Well, because you didn't feel comfortable at your house. How are you going to feel comfortable in other social situations?
Yep. Plus,
they're one and the same. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about being different and special, right? Like we were talking about before this, wasn't like I grew up in kind of low income neighborhoods. So the kids had, they wanted to posture each other and talk about women like they were objects and like talk smack on each other and belittle each other and put each other down and try to act cool and I didn't like that or feel the same way. I wasn't coordinated, so I wasn't able to be with the jocks. I wasn't, a skater, even though it was the closest thing I could figure out. And so I just didn't fit in. And so I would try and eat lunch at lunch tables, and then the kids would kick me off. They're like, you are making us look bad. You need to get off our lunch table right now. And then they'd sometimes beat me up for trying. My friends that were a part of that had to pretend like they didn't know me for most of the day so that they didn't get picked on and beat up.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot. It was a lot for a long time.
Yeah.
My grandparents were cool. They were kind of my safe place.
Where are they?
My grandpa died 2 years ago. Grandma's in Boise.
Yeah.
Boise, yeah. Yeah. Which I lived there for 17 years. Beautiful place.
Really?
Yeah.
With grandma?
And, yep, my mom lived there at once. Sister's there now. Uncle and cousins. So
yeah,
it was a reprieve for my life.
Do you know Amy Jean Orozco?
That sounds familiar.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's in Boise?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and the Kane family. Kane.
No.
All right.
Where was it?
Oh, shoot. So you lived there. Your grandma was cool, you were saying.
Grandma, yep. So grandparents, it was where they now, back then they were in Utah.
Mm.
And I just loved going to their house. That's where I felt loved and welcomed and all the things. So.
Yeah. A safe haven. Did you, dark periods did you have amongst the darkness growing up?
Oh,
being flip-flopped.
It was bad for a long time.
What specific points do you come to mind when you think about bad?
I started thinking about taking my own life when I was 7.
7? How come?
I just didn't feel loved. I didn't feel wanted.
I didn't feel worth it. Yeah.
So I'm like, if my parents don't want me or love me.
Yeah, you said, what's the point?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I remember talking to my dad about that, about dying of a broken heart. And it actually registered for me. It was so interesting. I remember going into his room trying to talk with him, like something exciting happened that day. I remember walking in and telling him, like, Dad, this thing happened. And he was watching TV and he just looks over at me like, why are you even talking to me? Didn't say a word. He just looked at me.
Where's that come from? Where does that behavior come from?
What I found
is fascinating
is that he had never met his father.
Mm-hmm.
And I took my grandma to lunch before she passed on my dad's side. Different grandparents. Yeah. And my grandma was a wild, wild woman. Like the whole side of my dad's family, wild, strong, like people. And apparently she was married to this guy. She had an affair. The guy that she's having an affair with was having an affair and got pregnant with my dad. So she told the guy, and he's like, I want nothing to do with that boy or you ever again.
Right.
And so my dad kind of came to the world with that. This man raised him. We took on his last name. But I think he, which means the bridge.
Yeah.
My dad, I think my grandma, it's like a hardened woman. She was sweet, but just would tell you how it is, right? So she was kind of masculine and feminine, but mostly masculine.
Yeah.
And so my dad never really got that like nurturing, loving, supportive, encouraging in his life.
Yeah.
So and then he'd never met his dad, wasn't wanted by his dad. So he developed a pretty hard inner world himself.
Yeah.
From that.
Yep.
And so I get it now, totally get it and forgive him. And I'm grateful that I chose him and all the things and all the step parents and all the experiences.
Yeah.
And I get it. But man, yeah, he would smoke weed a lot, drink a lot, just try and numb out that part of him that didn't feel good enough.
Well, I think it's a valuable lesson in always putting ourselves in somebody else's shoes and doing our best to analyze as many variables as possible. With your father, the variable to consider is his upbringing. Mm-hmm. Now, he didn't have the love and support and nurturing care from his family.
Yeah.
And then that just trickles down generation and generation. It's a real thing. You're having a hard time, 7 years old, you're thinking about, what am I even doing here on this earth, right? And then let's fast forward a little bit to middle school. Where'd you go to middle school? What was the name of it?
There was Del Porto in California.
Yeah.
And then also Highland Middle School.
All right.
In Utah. Yep. Trying to figure myself out, started smoking weed, started selling weed, got caught selling weed.
How much weed were you get caught selling?
I always sell just a little bit, but I had an ounce in my pocket.
Right.
And the guy found it. He thought I was my shop teacher. Oh. So he thought I was trying to carve my name in this. It was like a big table that we'd sit around.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, just tell me. It's all right. You won't get in trouble. And then I pull this back up. And he's like, I thought you were carving your name. That's going to be bad. Funny story.
You lied, bro.
You thought it was, I got expelled for a year. It just sent, it's not good. I had to go to all these schools. And then they found my principal that had kept it and smoked it. And he got in trouble. It was the whole thing.
Because it was good. You got that dank, huh? Yeah. So how'd you feel, man? I mean, you were in a tough time as it is. Just till you're 34 years old, you're having not the brightest of times, and then you had this happen where you get expelled. What did that do to you?
It was not good, and my dad was so mad and disappointed. And he told me, he's like, he caught me with smoking weed one day, and he's like, I was smoking his weed. He's like, hey, don't do that before you go see your grandma. She's smart enough to catch it. And B, you can have this car. It's an 89 Mercury Cougar supercharged, white with black leather interior. And he's like, you can keep this car if you quit smoking weed. And then I got caught selling it, so he sold it.
No.
And
he literally sold it.
Yeah, he really did. He really did. But so it just kind of sent this like self-affirming prophecy of not being good enough.
Yeah.
And going to these crappy schools, they would just give you a packet and say, bring it back when you're done. Yeah. And so I'd fill it out. And so it was really difficult because I didn't get along with any of the kids on both sides. And they were kind of like homey style, in the schools I was going to. And I felt more like the second stage guy, like kind-hearted and tried to put on a front just to be safe. And it didn't feel safe. And so my dad did redeem himself when I got into high school. He bought me a pretty nice Acura Integra.
Yeah, little two-door.
Yeah, sporty. I remember meeting when we bought it, meet the guy who's dating this beautiful woman. I'm like, that's what I want. So
Yeah, he's got that car.
Yeah,
I want that car
too.
Yeah.
So I ended up having the nicest car at my high school, and
Wow.
dated a couple of the beautiful women, and because of that, and
What'd that do for you? To have a nice car and date the women?
not much, because it didn't last long.
What do you mean?
They just hung out with me a couple times, and that was it. Mainly for the car.
Yeah, well, there's got to be more to that story.
Yeah.
I mean, it had to have done something for you. The fact that it worked, the fact that you saw some success in the dating scene.
It did start helping, and then I did.
And your father was the one that helped you with that.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
That was super helpful.
Yeah.
So then I met this beautiful woman named Felice, and we started dating.
When was this?
I was 18.
Well, wait a second. Hold on. We're going to talk about Felice in just a minute.
Okay.
So you got caught selling the weed. You got expelled. What happened? That was in middle school? Middle school. All right. All right.
No, wait. Actually, that was high school. Middle school.
Yeah, what happened in middle school?
That was some wild times. My friend Jason, hung out with him a lot. His dad was a cop.
Yeah.
We stole his cop car one time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because that's what you do, right? When you live in the woods, you don't have the internet.
Yeah.
And you're bored, and you're kind of in a broken household. So you're like, let's just cause a ruckus.
Yeah.
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 You know what? Something tells me that you've got a mountain of stories similar to that one. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And something tells me that you're probably very grateful to be alive right now and not in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. So, okay. What happened with the cop car?
We ended up getting it back. I think he found out, and he got in trouble, but I didn't. So it worked out.
He took the fall, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, Jason, your boy. Where's Jason today?
I don't know. One day, he was not the most honest guy in the world.
Go figure.
And he was the one that he was the cool guy in the skaters club, so he had to pretend not to know me.
Oh.
And so we'd be walking to school and hang out like the whole weekend, walking to school, and then he'd go to the other side of the street until we got back to that part. He would pretend not to know me. And
politics, dude.
Yeah, it was kids. And then he he said he's a stockbroker.
Okay.
And
maybe.
Yeah.
Dishonest stockbroker.
Yeah. Yeah. I would be perfect for him. So that would make sense. But he did tell me he wasn't very happy. He had kids, wife.
Really?
Beer belly.
Oh.
But a lot of toys.
Oh. Okay. He's not really thriving.
Yeah, he's not on social media, and he just randomly reached out to me one day.
Yeah.
And kind of shared these pieces, and I haven't heard from him since. I don't know.
That's random, dude.
Yeah. Random.
You're probably like, oh, I'm so glad I took that call. Yeah. Anyways. All right. So tell me about the woman, because you're in high school now. High school is when stuff can really get rocky, dude.
Yeah. What
was it like every day going to school? Did you take the bus or you walked?
So I wasn't, I would just go to that alternative school for a bit, and that I ended up just taking the GED.
Yeah.
And
when did you leave school?
Well,
did you have 4 years of high school?
No, because I got expelled, and then I couldn't.
Oh, and
they wouldn't really let me back in.
Oh.
I tried and got caught up and even excelled.
What do you mean you got caught up? Oh, in grades?
Yep.
School, yeah.
I was getting straight A's, and they still wouldn't let me back.
Because of some weed?
Yep.
Well, this is in Ogden?
Yep.
Is it because of the Mormonism? Is that any influence in the school? Because they're strict. Okay.
I remember just applying this nice high school. My friend went there, Colton, and tried to get back in. And they said no. So I just... I took the GED.
Yeah.
Passed within the top 10 percentile of the nation that has ever taken it. And I didn't study. So I figured, I'm all right, I'm good. I'll just keep that. So I moved on. That's when the car was happening.
Yeah.
And I met Felice.
Felice.
Yeah, she was a hottie.
What'd you like about her?
We had good chemistry, but
you're 18.
It was very tumultuous.
Really? Well, you know what? I think that it's rare for people to not have some bad relationships. It's more rare than not. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially coming from a home where you're not shown how to have healthy relationships, or within yourself or others, and so
you're telling me.
Yeah. So that was crazy. Like I got in a fight with her dad. I got in a fight with her brother. They both beat me up, chipped my tooth. Like they were fighters. And they were.
You got in a fight with your girlfriend's dad and brother.
Yeah.
Were you all on drugs?
No.
A sober fight?
Yeah.
What was it about?
I think they were drunk.
What was it about? What could you possibly be arguing about?
It was like their baby. She was there.
Okay.
And
what? You're 18. Yeah. Your dad was picking a fight with an 18-year-old?
Yeah, because he knew I took her virginity, and so he wasn't happy about that.
You did that?
And I was kind of a punk kid. So.
How'd you feel about that?
Then?
Yeah.
Or now?
Then.
I was happy.
Okay.
Because I felt like I loved her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. And then, how do you feel about that now?
I feel like...
Could have gone without?
I would, yeah. Yeah, I would very much have chosen different path. Uh-huh.
So, I can't believe the dad, what was he, jealous? Like, oh, that was mine.
I mean...
What are you going to do about it, bro?
Yeah.
There he goes.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this. I was talking about this today. Most people get mad or upset about things they have no control over. Mm-hmm. You think he had control over you in that? No, and he's getting mad.
Yeah. So he was protective of her. I get it, but he was an alcoholic and not quite coolest guy himself. And he was cheating on his wife, and so he had some guilt mixed in with it. But and then she ended up breaking up with me. Looking back, understandably, but it sent me into a deep, dark depression for years. Kind of the way it unfolded, and I saw her once, and she was talking to this other guy like 2 weeks after telling him she loved him, and so my 18-year-old self didn't know what to do. 18, 19, and
she didn't know what to do either. She's doing that.
No,
Goo.
Yeah. So deep, dark depression for a long time.
Muck, bro. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get it. Just total chaos world.
Yeah.
Chaos, low energy stuff. And it's like, whoa, whoa, dude, whoa. Freaking boat's rocking.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah. Jeez. Okay. What happened next? Wait, you said deep, dark depression.
Yeah.
What'd that do to you?
I spiraled for years. I would replay it in my mind hundreds, thousands of times a day. And
ghosts,
like the enemy got me and just ran me into it. So I started eating poorly.
What did you eat?
Like KFC a lot, fast food. So I was doing construction, and then I was smoking a lot of weed, drinking a lot.
Weed, the gateway drug, and then got you addicted to something.
Yeah.
What was that?
I was addicted to weed. I was addicted to alcohol, pornography, masturbating. I mean, anything I could do to numb out.
Yeah.
But it just kept creating a darker, deeper cave.
Yeah.
And then became suicidal for a few years. Like came really, really close.
Dang.
Like really close. I remember one year I was living in California doing sheet metal roofing on airplane hangars.
Okay.
And then I flew back. My dad was dying of cancer and I was ready to go. And so I made a plan. I'm going to go, bought these nice clothes and go say bye to Dad, hang out with him for a bit, and say bye to Felice and my family. And I stole my dad's gun and I went back home. Or I had stolen it before in plans of it actually years before that. I had it in California, flew back to say goodbye, and had even told my dad, I said, hey, don't worry about getting me Christmas presents. Just give them to Josh and Brianna.
Jeez.
And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I'm good. Like, I'm really glad to be here with you guys. That's enough for me. And so somehow he knew. He went and found his gun that was stolen. And
yeah, years later.
No, then.
No, but you stole it.
Yes.
Years.
Yeah, he did.
Pop's got to take care of his guns.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was probably a year. And so he realizes that's gone. I don't know how during that time, but then he calls my stepdad. My stepdad then goes to my apartment, gets in the apartment, and then takes the gun. So I don't know this is going on. I'm in Utah. I'm saying goodbye to my, dad and Felice and friends and family. And then I fly back and I'm ready and the gun's gone.
Yeah.
And I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was so mad. I was also addicted to Norcos, like Vicodin and pills at the time. So I'm like, okay, I'll just OD on these.
Yeah.
So I was writing my goodbye letter to my family and friends, and took 20 Vicodin in one gulp.
Mm.
And then I think I developed tolerance because that would kill most people. But I woke up the next day and
Really?
yeah, like angry at God. I'm like, but that was kind of the turning point, because then I thought, you know what? All right, I'm not going to do this. So I got to make life the best I can.
Yeah. Let's turn it around.
Yep. So I started doing self-development at 20. I went to this impact retreats that was like, what do you guys call it here? It's a leadership development that's pretty popular.
ALA?
Yeah, it's like that.
You sure?
Yeah.
Like neuro-linguistic program stuff?
Yep. It multiple weekends of things you go through, go through all your stuff, and then that completely changed my life. Opened me up.
Dude, isn't that crazy? Talking with Derek earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're one conversation away from changing our lives forever. Sometimes we're talking about the power of one. We're talking about the power of just changing one word instead of using the word try. Just eliminate it and use the word do from now on, right?
Mm-hmm.
One simple thing like that can change. So one event that you went to was the catalyst.
Started changing everything. And so it just developed, my life. And right at that time, it was a really interesting time. My mom's special, wonderful woman. She's doing really well now. Incredible human, incredible soul.
Yeah.
And we have an amazing relationship. At the time, she had fibromyalgia. The doctors gave her narcotic pills. She got addicted to them. It was tearing up her mind. And I studied German New Medicine, and it was actually the spine is where we stand up tall for ourselves and respect ourselves. And my stepdad was just tearing her down. And so it was deteriorating her bones. And the doctors were like, here, just take more of these pills that are addictive and horrible for your mind and your body. And so she just spiraled. And so I went to this event, changed my life. Dad was dying of cancer. Mom was in and out of rehab and mental hospitals for attempted suicide. And the day my dad died, I called my mom. I got this really great job at T-Mobile customer service. I was just like 20, and they pulled me out, went into the room, saw my aunt, and I just knew that he was gone.
Yeah.
I went out to the parking lot, tried to call my mom, and she didn't answer, and called my grandma and found out she was in the mental hospital. She had tried to take her life the night before, and so still, I still went through quite a bit for a long time. So drinking, still things but then I just kept doing self-development. I kept learning, I kept growing, I kept going to things, I kept working with people, I kept trying new things, and started exercising. And my personal trainer probably saved my life. That's part of why I do what I do, because he's like, no, you get your ass in the gym, and this is the program we're going to do, and I'm not going to let you out of it. And that started me on a trajectory of health, I started to feel better and realized that the way I feel is in direct proportion to how I take care of my body.
And you've got a strong concept of time. And I'm going to get your thoughts on this statement. It seems to me like you are so aware of time that if you replace positive minutes with negative minutes, that it's very hard to fail. Have you ever visualized it that way or said it that way? Because the gym's positive, and you've got 2 hours or an hour and a half of your day to where it's all good.
Yeah.
And that's safe, too. Safety, comfortable and secure. Now you fill your minutes, minute by minute, with positivity, productivity, being surrounded by inspiring people, filling your mind with good stuff. Is that true?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I love that. It really is. There's only 2 emotions, love or fear, right? So it's really the same within time. And so we're either doing something that's productive. And to me, being in nature is productive. Even just sitting and thinking is productive. Enjoying the moment is productive. It doesn't have to be, I got to be doing something and producing and creating in order for it to be productive.
Yeah, productive towards what? Yeah, doing nothing is something.
Yes.
Depending on the context. And it can be extremely powerful. Stillness, you talked about that before.
Yeah.
Stillness can be seen by someone as doing nothing, but really it's very powerful to be still.
Yeah. There are a lot of high-achieving people that actually give a lot of the credit to their success of being still, of taking time just to sit and think. And it's
That's
like
underrated.
one of those slow down to speed up things, right? I have a lot of my clients do that, where they're just CEOs that have to keep going, and they feel their dad had told them, you got to keep producing and your worth is tied into your success.
Alpha.
So, yeah. And they're actually third stage, they're more sigma, but they still are acting as if they're alphas.
I see. Okay, I didn't realize you can be third stage, but act as this first.
Yep.
I didn't realize.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good to know.
And because it's a bit
good.
inherent in each man.
Yeah.
And just like we were saying earlier, there's a need for alphas, there's a need for betas, and there's a need for sigmas. There's a need for each cell of the part of God, right? Everyone has a purpose. It's just finding what that is and then bringing it out in a productive way. We have the alphas in control, which we want them in support, but not in control. I actually need them to bring their ideas, but more to come to a sigma. So, the time is so important for us to understand. I've worked my men through what is the vision in your life, what are you creating, and who are you? Because that's the most important piece. I loved what you shared earlier about the real gold is the love that we share with people, the moments, the experiences. That's what we take with us. We don't take the success. We do take who we become and what we share and create. And so it's what's helping them find their purpose, what they're creating, who they are, what's in the way, inside and out, and then what's in the way of happiness, fulfillment, inside and out. So I went through all of that. I'm so glad I did. And it was a long time and a lot, and it was really challenging, and it took a lot to move out of that mindset. And I'd say I'm 90%. I used to not be confident in myself. I would have insecurities. I'd be anxious. I'd have all these pieces, and now feel so solid in who I am. And so I love supporting men in doing the same.
Let me touch upon that, what you just said there for a second. My pastor said this. He goes, no one ever said about a man that's not here anymore, oh, you know what, I wish he made a little bit more. No one ever said that. No. But they might say, gosh, I wish he let go a little bit more and enjoyed life a little bit more. Yeah. They might say something like that.
Yeah.
Because that's what matters. Yeah. Man, this is freaking great, dude. What a fired up chat. It's no joke, man. Yeah. So what single entity or thing or organization, got a bunch of options, would you say attributed mostly to helping you? The most impactful? Could have been that first thing you did, could be church, could be a book, could be a person.
I contribute all of it to God.
I have a feeling you're going to say that.
And to me, that's not...
Same here, dude.
It's Jesus is a part of that.
Yeah.
It isn't all of it to me. It's a big part. And to me, there's the divine something that supported the orchestration of every bit of my life that I feel inside of me, that I feel when I'm sitting with my men and what I bring to them and what comes through me and what was always there for me throughout the whole time.
Yes.
The whole time. And I was searching for it. And now knowing that, God's like, I've been giving you, I love you unconditionally. You can never do a thing to change that, add to it, decrease from it.
Yeah, and then what do you do? Right? Knowing that.
Yeah. And you're my son. How much more loved or special or worthy can you be than my son?
And how do you honor God? You radiate his excellence.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Because he loves you no matter what. Oh gosh, well if that's what's happening here, if that's the handshake we've got,
that's it. So that's it.
Yeah.
So that's what I really help men with, is to make that handshake, and live life from that, knowing, and what that does for everything in their life. Everything gets better because what became better for me, what changed the game, what changed everything, knowing that, truly knowing it, having it go from a thought or hearing it, in integrating that knowing 100%. So it's like, now I know that I'm worthy, now that I know that I'm loved, and I always have been, even with all the things of my parents, God was always there saying, I love you. I'm here for you. I know this is tough. It's going to be great. And we're choosing this for you. We're together for you to become a great man. It will be worth it. I promise you. I remember him hearing that. I remember hearing that and being like, F you. That's such crap. Do you know what I've gone through for the last bit? He's like, yeah. He's like, and that's how great you're going to be. So trust me. I've got you. And now looking back, I'm like, yep, it's worth it all. Sure was tough during the times because it was so much for so long.
Yeah. Think about how much wisdom you've gained. Yeah. And you have a choice. We talk about the power of choice here quite often. And you can choose one of two things. You can choose resentment or you can choose gratitude.
Yeah.
And you're choosing gratitude. You know what? Gosh, thank you. Because look, right? You're living your life of your dream.
And I'm just beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that ain't fired up, Oaks, I don't know what is. Yeah. Yeah, you're the ideal guest on this podcast. You very much are. Yeah. So let's talk about the future.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna inspire and help over 1 million men, more than likely.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do? What does your future look like? Paint us a picture.
Homestead, babies, beautiful, wonderful wife and relationship.
Yeah.
Retreat center, retreats, more retreats. I've done retreats around the world, more of those. Great friends, solid men in my life.
Solid.
Which I have now, and just really harnessing that and building like such a solid team. Really, whenever God and my soul want me to do.
What would you like to do?
I would love to. So I can do what Tony Robbins does, like work a room, but I have the heart as well. Like I know Tony does also. And so I love doing that. I love bringing a group together, just like I'm ready to level up in my life and then just let the Holy Spirit orchestrate through me with them.
Mm-hmm.
And see that to big levels. I don't really want to be famous. I'd rather just do it.
It's okay if you do.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No.
It's okay if you do.
It's scary.
Yeah, but it's one of those things, like, it's an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's no other difference than, I want to ride a roller coaster. Why? Because it makes you feel a certain way. I want to be famous. Why? It makes you feel a certain way. And then once you try the feeling, once you feel what that's like, you can check that box off. It's a whole experience.
I've kind of had it, when I was in Boise.
Did you?
Yeah.
Boise fame?
Yeah, I'm at the point where I'd go out and people would recognize me and say, hey, I love what you do, and it would happen pretty regularly, and people would stop me, and so I kind of got enough of that feeling, and then I would do events, and it would get sold out, and there'd be standing room only, and so that was enough for me. I'm like, cool, I'm good with that. It feels good. And now I know that I derive my worth and my value from God. And so I don't need any exterior.
Yeah, because you're playing with fire.
Yeah. And
you go for that, playing with fire.
I already know if I'm whole and holy, like whole is holy.
Yes.
You put a W in front of holy, right?
Wholeness, dude.
Yes.
Big principle.
That's it.
Amazing principle. Like how to feel complete in a day.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's knowing that you're complete, always have been, and feeling that, and then living from that. That's where things change. Because the law of manifestation and attraction is real, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're living from, I'm not enough, so I got to fix the thing for me to be enough. That manifests more of it. Not being enough. So we'll get the things we want, but we did it out of insecurity, so it'll crumble and be burned. And then from those ashes with God rises the phoenix. And we find that we were always whole the whole time. And that God's love and the wholeness is truly what's real. And when we live from that, let's see. Yeah.
Yes.
When we live from that wholeness, then everything is smooth. It's like magic butter. Life just glides, and it's so much fun. Things just happen, and we listen moment to moment, and we serve. I met a guy the other day he is a coach for billionaires. And
there's only 3,200 billionaires.
Yeah.
How many clients does he have?
I think a few.
A couple of them.
Yeah. He's been coaching big CEOs, Fortune 500 companies, yada, yada, for 20 years. He's a handsome, strappy guy, great accent, really cool dude. Never marketed in his life, ever. I don't know.
He figured it out.
He said, I do two things. I trust God and I serve. That's all I've ever had to do. I have the life I want, the relationship, the home, cars, the house, the love, the happiness, the connection, the business.
What?
Mm-hmm. And so I trust God and I serve.
Yeah. Trust God and serve. It's a powerful message.
Yeah.
Let us take time to focus on that next couple of weeks here, everybody. How can we trust God? How can we serve to the best of our capabilities?
Yeah.
So what would you say to yourself? I'm not going to, you already answered that question a million times, I'm sure. I ask guests what they would say to themselves as a kid. Mm-hmm. You're a pro. I'm not going to ask you that.
I literally communicated with my future self as a child.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
I would talk about it as if everyone had what I call the big trend, and he called me little trend.
Yeah.
I would hear him every moment of the day. We had a dialogue.
Mm.
And now I do parts work where I actually go in and speak to that younger self. Everyone knew I had big trend. I didn't have imaginary friends and all that. But that was my way of coping. But there is no such thing as time. There's only experience. It's like a flip book or, a projector.
There's no such thing as time, only experience.
Mm-hmm. There is. So I created that connection to my childhood self and to have him know I'm here. And I do that now. I'll tell you a cool story about that. A couple of years ago, I was in Boise. I was going to bed. Lights were off. I was doing a meditation of bringing in my childhood self into this moment, bringing in my future self, ideal future self in this moment, creating what's called an internal family system of the three of us. And then all of a sudden I feel this like dark presence right next to my bed. And it's there. I could feel it. And I'm like, what the crap? And I could see it. And so the first thing that came to mind, I said, in the name of Jesus, I rebuke you in the name of the light. Or you must leave if you are not of the light. And the moment I said the word light, my lights turned on in my room. And that I'd lived there for over a year. It never happened, but the moment I said the word light, the lights turned on. And and so I talked to my teacher at the time, and very profound, brilliant man, and very tapped in. And he said, yeah, that was you seeing a glimpse of your power and capability. And he said, also next time, that dark presence next to your bed was your childhood self. He said, next time, give it a hug instead of rebuking it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you believe that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
It was on my left side, which is where I was bringing him in. It just made sense. It just was scary because of how...
Well, yeah, dude. It's dark. It's spooky. You see movies, man.
Yeah.
That's what did it for us.
Yeah.
Ever went to Ghost? Patrick Swayze? Yeah, dude. Come on now.
He's trying to come around me to make a bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, you want to do some pottery?
Yeah.
Like, turn the light on.
Yeah.
Bam.
Put his shirt on, Patrick Swayze.
Be on. Yeah, cold nipples. Cold ghost nipples. So who's one person you want to talk to that's alive right now that you haven't been able to talk to yet? Someone you'd like to really dive into.
That's a good question. I think Michael Beckwith would be a cool guy to talk with.
Who's that?
He was on The Secret. He has this big spiritual church and just channels. And I think Tony Robbins would be cool to speak with. Just people that have a deep connection, profound, deep connection with God, have created great things, have gone through a lot, and are really living a life of service and activation and helping the world and also making good money and created what they want.
Energy. High energy. Wow. Okay. That's good. Yeah. Let's say it's 300 years from now. You got great grandkids probably at that point. Great grandkids. Mm-hmm. What kind of message you want to leave with them?
I would tell them a lot of what I feel God's message has been for me, which is I love you unconditionally.
Yeah.
I want the best for you in your life. You are whole and holy. You are of divine blood, as we all are. You're no better or less than anyone. You leave here with the love and the service that you share. And to see what's possible when you know and live from this. And that God loves you unconditionally. Is always there.
Always. Yeah. Well said. Wow. Trentamus, how do people get a hold of you? Time out. This is a question that you all probably were curious about this too. Where'd your name come from?
It's a good question. So,
I should have started with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
It's unique.
My parents said that, or my mom said that God just told her that's my name.
All right.
I wish there was some cool backstory to it. That's cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. It started as Trent. That is what is on my birth certificate.
Yeah.
They've called me that since I was a kid, and I went by Trent for a while. It just doesn't feel the same.
Trent.
Yeah.
Trentamus.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Morpheus. Trentamus.
Yeah.
Take the blue pill.
Yeah.
Ah.
Red pill.
The red. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red. And how do people get a hold of you?
So
let's say I want to hit you up and get you as a coach.
Yeah. I'm willing to give 20 minutes to anyone. And so I sent you a link to put in the show notes.
Yeah.
On my calendar.
Got it.
There's a space in there, and you feel like I could serve you or support you, or you're interested and open to working together.
Yeah.
Get on that.
Get on it.
And it's a chemistry call where I'm just like, hey, how can I serve you? We got 20 minutes. Let's go. And then if it's this feels good.
Yeah.
I like this. I like what I'm seeing and noticing here. Did you get served? And do you want to talk more about working together? And if it's yes, it feels good both ways. Then we do a deeper dive call. And then if that feels really good, then we talk about it at the end.
Yeah.
So it's a multiple step. I work with men for 6 months minimum. So I don't just say, all right, here, I want to get to know them. It's like dating, right?
Yeah.
Just dive in and marry the person on the first or second date. And also it's important for it to feel good both ways, because I'm going to be getting to know the depths of this man. It's like you've done a great job today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're great at this. You'd be a great coach too.
Thank you.
Good.
I'm a real estate coach.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and click the link. Let's hop on a couple calls. If it feels good, we'll talk about it. And I don't do any of the, like, some coaches, they're great marketers, they're great salesmen, horrible coaches. I'm a great coach, not a great marketer, and a decent salesman, but I don't sell. I don't need to sell. I'll just trust God and serve.
Yeah.
And when I do that, when I just serve and show up for whoever's there on that call, God takes care of the rest. I don't need to manipulate or do all that crazy stuff,
Yeah.
I'm in abundance.
Right.
God fills me with everything I need, and I pour that over, and then it comes back in tenfold.
Remember that. That's a very powerful lesson. Wow, man. This is freaking fired up, dude, to say the least. This is at a minimum fired up. Any closing statements before we hop off today? Anything you'd like to share with the world? Any organizations you'd like to support or anything at all? The floor is yours.
Let's see. I would say that right now, more than ever, the world, and I use the word need rarely, needs people to do great things.
Yeah.
To be great.
Yeah.
And moment to moment, that could be being willing to smile at someone and say hello when they were afraid in public, or to stand up and not allow something that isn't good for them individually, their family, or the community. To be willing to, especially men, to be willing to risk our lives to help our community and to listen to God and what we're called to do. That's a big one. It's a message I want to give out there of just men, and women. Speak to men, rise up. It's time. And whatever that looks like.
Right. It could be very small, like a smile.
Look at the, things that it's also trust. Live from trust too. God's got a plan. And the second thing would be really the same message to my grandchildren, like God loves you unconditionally. Always has, always will be. You can't do anything to change it. And you're always whole. And to bring the wholeness to the world and know that you're always filled up and see what's possible. There's nothing no one ever needs to do to the big three to prove that they're worthy, that they're capable, they're valuable, or that they're lovable. Those are already inherent. And so God can know everything about us and everything we've ever done and still absolutely love and appreciate us and know our worth and our value. And so can we.
And then things start to be seen in color. Well, folks, you've heard it here first. Holy smokes, Trentamus Briggs. a.k.a. Bridges. Yeah. Thanks so much for hopping on today, man. This is really freaking awesome. Thanks for your words of inspiration. Of course, till next time, Pivot Moments Podcast, Greg Carlson. Stay fired up.